Good day, everyone. We are going to learn more about Highscope curriculum. Let me introduce to you our group. So my name is Mikyla B. Salupan, and here is our group leader, Miss Catherine A. Recullo, and these are our group mates, Corrine May Molina and Jhonella Jayne Amores. So let's talk first about what is high scope curriculum. High scope curriculum is an educational approach for young children that focuses on active learning, hands-on experiences, and child-initiated activities. This includes active learning, where children learn by doing and exploring, child-initiated activities where kids take the lead in planning and carrying out activities, and adults provide guidance and support without dominating. Let's move into the history of high scope curriculum. The high scope curriculum began in the early 1960s in Ypsilanti, Michigan, developed by David Weikart to support disadvantaged children. Its first implementation, the Perry Preschool Project, aimed to improve the long-term outcomes of children from low-income families through quality early education. Inspired by the ideas of Jean Piaget, the curriculum emphasizes active learning, where children gain knowledge by exploring, making choices, and engaging in hands-on experiences rather than passive instruction. The philosophy of the high scope curriculum is based on the ideas of Jean Piaget and is developed by David Weikart. It highlights that children can learn best through active, hands-on experiences. Instead of just listening to the teacher, children are encouraged to explore materials, interact with others, and build their own understanding. This reflects constructivism, where learning happens through experience and active involvement. To make learning meaningful, teachers can guide children by asking questions and giving them opportunities to discover things on their own. For example, the teacher places different colored objects like blocks, toys, or paper on the table and asks questions like, "Can you find something that is red?" Or, "What happens if we group all the blue objects together?" So children begin to pick, sort, and compare the objects. Some may even say, "This one is the same," or "This is different." Instead of directly giving answers, the teacher continues to guide like, "Why do you think these belong together?" Or, "Can you show me another one like that?" So through this kind of interaction, children actively think, explore, and explain their ideas. They are not just memorizing colors. They are understanding them through real experiences, which makes learning deeper and more meaningful.
Now, let's move forward to their beliefs about children and how they learned. The statement here, children are the source of their own learning. Hence, they learn by doing and being actively involved in working ideas, people, and materials. Why does this really mean? In simple terms, High Scope says kids aren't empty buckets we fill with knowledge. They're like little scientists, naturally curious, exploring their world through hands-on experiences. They need to touch, move, build, talk, and play with real materials to truly understand concepts. This isn't just playtime. It's how their brains make connections and build knowledge. Um, think about it. When you were little, didn't you learn more by actually doing things rather than just listening? Next, let's look at High Scope's curriculum focus. This shows this shows us how they put those beliefs into practice. like encourages children's initiatives by providing children with materials, equipment, and time to pursue activities they choose, provides teachers a framework for guiding children's independent activities towards sequence learning goals. Including children's interests in the curriculum is a constructivist approach and implement the philosophies of Dewey and Piaget. And also, it comes from two sources, children's interests and key experiences, which are lists of observable learning behaviors. Let me break this down simply. High scopes give kids freedom and structure. They give materials and time to follow their interests, but teachers guide them toward important learning goals. It's like giving kids a big sandbox with the right tools. They play freely, but the sandbox has boundaries that lead to learning. The constructivist approach means we build knowledge together, just like Dewey and Piaget taught us. And the curriculum comes from two sources, what kids naturally want to explore, plus planned key experiences that target specific skills. Highscope identified 8 important categories of key experiences. These aren't random. They are observable behaviors that shows kids are developing important cognitive skills. So think of them as checkpoints teachers used to see. It's this child mastering these essential skills? Questions. So let's talk first the creative representations, which means that a child are recognizing objects by sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, like feeling soft feathers and hearing bells ring in a mystery bug. The child is imitating actions and sounds by barking like a dog after seeing a picture book puppy. The child is relating models, pictures, and photographs to real places and things by stacking blocks and saying, "This isn't my house, this is my house down the street." The child is pretending and role playing by acting as a mama, cooking soap with a Play Doh. The child is making models out of clay, like blocks and other materials, by rolling a snake from dough. The child is drawing and painting happy faces with big smiles on paper. So now let's dive in the language and literacy, which means that a child are talking with others about personally meaningful experiences like my Lola gave me candy yesterday. The child is describing objects, events, and relations by pointing ball, red. The child is having fun with language, listening to stories and poems, making up stories and rhymes by chanting cat, hot, and fat. After a silly poem, the child is writing in various ways, drawing, scribbling letter-like forms, invented spelling, and conventional forms by making wiggle lines for my dog. The child is reading in various ways, reading storybooks, signs, and symbols, one's own writing by sounding out the snack sign apples. The child is dictating stories to teacher about a big adventure. Number 3. Initiative and social relations. In this, the child are making and expressing choices, plans, and decisions by saying, "I pick blacks first." The child is solving problems and encountered in play when a tower falls by grabbing more blocks. The child is taking care of one's own needs by washing hands before snack. The child is expressing feelings in words by saying, "I'm mad you took my car." The child is participating in group routines during morning circle songs. The child is also being sensitive to the feelings, interests, and needs of others by asking, "You want turn now?" The child is building relationship with children and adults by hugging teachers goodbye, and the child also creating and experiencing collaborative play by building a long train with friends. They are dealing with social conflict by sharing you push, I pull track. So now, let's dive into the classification. It means that a child are exploring and describing similarities, differences, and attributes of things by touching shells, smooth like baby skin. The child is distinguishing and describing shapes by fitting circles, round like plate. The child is sorting and matching buttons. They also describing something in several ways like blocks for towers or bridges. They're also holding more than one attribute in mind at a time by picking big red ones only. They're also distinguishing between some and all by saying some cars fast, not all. They're also describing characteristic that something does not possess or what class does it belong to by noting triangle is not square, it's a pointy toy. So now let's dive into the seriation. In this, seriation is when the child are comparing attributes, longer, shorter, bigger, smaller, by holding sticks side by side. The child is arranging several things one after another in a series or pattern and describing the relationships. And describing the relationships of big, bigger, BR biggest, red or blue, by lining dolls, baby, mommy, or daddy's eyes. The child is fitting one ordered set of object to another through trial and error. So now, the number. In this, number which means that child are comparing the numbers of things in two sets to determine the more, fewer, or same number. By eyeing rock piles, the child is arranging two sets of objects in one-to-one correspondence by matching spoons to balls. The child is counting objects by touching beads like 1, 2, 3. Space. In this, space is a child are filling and emptying sand from cup to truck. Like a child, for instance, the child is fitting things together and taking them apart by snapping train tracks. The child is changing the shapes and arrangement of objects like wrapping, twisting, stretching, stacking, or including. By twisting yarn on stick, the child is observing people, places, and things from different spatial viewpoints from rag corner. The child is experiencing and describing positions, directions, and distances in the play space, building a neighborhood by walking far to dark. They also interpreting spatial relations in drawings, pictures, and photographs by pointing car under bridge picture. So, time. In this time, the child are starting and stopping an action on signal by marching them or freezing. The child is experiencing and describing rates of movement by hopping fast or slow. The child is experiencing and comparing time intervals with sand timers. The child is anticipating, remembering, and describing sequences of events by saying yesterday snack, then swing. Now, let's talk about the teacher's rule before, during, and after. So, let's start on before activities begin because this is crucial to preparation. So, in this matter, teachers are like stage directors. They don't dictate what kids do, but they set the perfect stage. They watch what children love, then provide materials that match those interests to specific learning goals. Every center, every material has a purpose. So, during During the teacher rules is the learning time. Teachers become the facilitators. Teachers step back but stay ready. They watch, listen, ask questions like what happened if. They don't solve problem for kids. They help kids solve their own problems. Small group let teachers target specific skills while large group build community. So what happened to after activities? So teachers become researchers. This is detective work wherein the teachers document exactly what each child did, said, and learned. These notes become portfolios showing growth over time. So it's a concrete evidence of learning, so not just a test scores.
Now, let's have the role of the learner in a Highscope curriculum. So in a Highscope curriculum, learners are active participants about their learning. So in here, they plan, explore, reflect, and take responsibility about their actions. They also develop independence, social skills, and critical thinking. So the first role of a learner in a Highscope curriculum is that the learner plans out what activities they want to do. So in here, children or the learners are encouraged to think ahead to make intentional choices about their day. This allows the learners in planning to express their interests and preferences. This promotes a sense of ownership over their learning processes. So teachers might ask them open-ended questions, just like what do you want to do first, or how will you start your project? So the second rule of a learner in a Highscope curriculum is the learner carries out their plans during work time. So after planning, children implement their chosen activities. So in this stage, this emphasizes the persistence, focus, and the problem solving as they actively engage in a hands-on learning experiences. So whether it might be a building block or a drawing or a role playing. So learners here practice applying their ideas and adjusting strategies as they needed. So which strengthens their cognitive, motor, and social skills. So another role of a learner in a Highscope curriculum is the learner reviews and recalls what they did during the recall time or during the activity. So at the end of the activity or a session, learners reflect on their experiences. They talk about what they accomplished. They talk about what challenges they face or what they have learned. So they might take reflection, builds memory, develop critical thinking also while reinforcing the value of evaluating one's own effort. So another rule of a learner is the learner participates actively in activities. So active participation of the learners means learners are engaged and motivated to explore. So they contribute ideas, involve nurture confidence, communication skills, and sense of belonging in a classroom. So another role of a learner is a learner solves problems and interacts with other children, of course. So in here, social interaction is essential learning, and children learn, negotiate, share, collaborate, which helps them activities encourage critical thinking and activity and ability to adopt strategies when faced with challenges. So the last role of a learner in a Highscope curriculum is that the learner becomes independent and responsible for their learning. So in here, over the time, children gradually accept consequences and decisions. So they learn to manage tasks, choices, and accept consequences, which also promotes autonomy and responsibility. So this independence prepares them not only in academic success but also for life skills and self-regulation and confidence in their abilities and in their future. Now let's also have the role of the parents in a high scope curriculum. So the first role of a parent is regularly visits their child. So in here, regular visits, parents are encouraged to come in every 2 weeks to observe their child's activities. And this allows them to see their child's progress firsthand and in some cases learn strategies and support in learning at home. So the second role of a parent is family involvement. So in here, in a high scope, promotes partnership approach between the families and the educators or the school. So here, parents and teachers maintain an ongoing exchange of information about their child's development, interest, and their needs. So the third role of a parent in a high scope curriculum is support through workshops. So in here, curriculum-based workshops are offered to families, providing practical guidance on how to extend learning at home. And these workshops help actively contribute to their child's growth and their development.
The daily schedule is designed to consider the developmental level of children while minimizing transitions and ensuring consistent structured routine. Central to this schedule is the Plan Do Review sequence, a 60 to 70-minute process that integrates content areas and provide opportunities for children to express intentions, engage in activities, and reflect on their experiences with teacher support. These are the following core processes supporting the daily routine. First is the planning time. Learners are given structured opportunities to express their ideas and intentions. Teachers engage with children to clarify plans, suggest strategies, and encourage decision-making, fostering independence and confidence. The second is key experiences. Teachers design activities based on key developmental experiences, broadening children's abilities while supporting their interest. The environment remains organized and consistent to promote exploration and growth. The third is work time. The longest segment of the Plan Do Review cycle, work time allows children to carry out their plans. Teachers observe interactions, problem solving, and information gathering, stepping in when appropriate to extend learning and encourage deeper engagement. The fourth one is cleanup time. Children return materials to labeled storage areas, ensuring order and accessibility. Clear labeling and open shelving promote independence and responsibility. The fifth one is recall time. Learners reflect on their work through drawing, storytelling, or discussion. Teachers help children connect their activities to their original plans, reinforcing problem-solving strategies and self-awareness. Next is the 7 daily routine components. First is the Plan Do Review sequence. It includes planning time that can last up to 10 to 15 minutes. Children plan activities, materials, and social interactions. Next is the work time, 40 to 60 minutes. In this time, children carry out or adapt their plans. Last is the recall time, 10 to 15 minutes. It is where children reflect on experiences with peers and adults.
The second one is the small group time, a teacher-led activity with a small group of children, designed around developmental needs and interests. Children make choices about materials and freely share ideas. Third is large group time, builds community through shared experiences such as music, movement, and storytelling. Children are encouraged to take leadership roles. Next is outside time, at least 30 minutes daily for active play in fresh air, supporting physical development and social interaction. Next, transition times. Structured learning opportunities during arrival, departure, or between activities, minimizing disruptions and maintaining engagement. Sixth is eating and resting times. Meal and snacks provide social and nutrition support, while rest periods respect family customs and offer quiet time. And the last time is the adult team planning time. Teachers collaborate to review observations, plan activities, and adjust materials to meet children's evolving needs. These may occur during nap time, before arrival, or after departure. In conclusion, a consistent daily routine fosters security, independence, risk-taking, and opening pathway to meaningful learning opportunities. While each high school program adapts the routine to its unique context, the inclusion of the planned review sequence, group times, outdoor plays, transitions, and team planning ensures a balanced and developmentally appropriate schedule for all learners. These are the following 8 learning environments and learning materials. First is a classroom where space is at a premium. It is a one area serves multiple purposes to minimize limited space. Second, various interest centers or work areas. Different zones with engagement materials that spark curiosity and exploration. The third one is organized storage with labels. Clear labeling helps children find and return materials independently. Fourth one is stimulating but orderly. The environment excites learning while maintaining structured and calm. The fifth one supports the daily routine. Children know what materials they can use, promote self-direction and independence. Sixth one is focus on real materials. Everyday items like dishes and tools connect learning to real-life experiences. The seventh one is based on work or interest areas. Classroom design encourages choice, focus, and meaningful engagement. And the last one is sample floor plan or setups. Visual layouts show how space can be arranged for functionality and exploration.
Now, let's have the additional features of Highscope curriculum. So, the first one is children's planning efforts are central in this program. Why? Because planning is a core part of Highscope curriculum. So, where children are seen as active learners. So, the plan do review approach encourages learners to make decisions, carry out their ideas, and reflect on their experiences. So this strengthens cognitive development, independence, and responsibility. So just like, for example, before playtime, the teacher asks the learners what they want to do. So a child says, or a learner says, I want to draw a house, teacher. And another one says, I want to play with blocks. So the teacher let them follow their plans. And after the activity, the teacher asked what they did and what happened to their plan. So another is Highscope has 6-step process to help resolve conflicts. So conflicts resolution aligns with Highscope, focuses on social emotional learning. So instead of punishing, children learn problem solving, empathy, and communication skills. So this approach, which emphasizes guiding children to handle disagreements constructively with builds regulations. So conflicts are natural in early childhood, but how are they handled shapes children's social emotional development. So Highscope resolves this by uses structured 6-step processes to guide children in resolving disagreements peacefully. So instead of punishing, children learn empathy and communication. So that is why, which are essential for cooperation and self-regulation. For example, two children are engaging over a toy truck. So the teacher guides them using a 6-step processes to solve the problem peacefully. The 6-step process of Highscope curriculum to help the learners resolve their conflicts or their problems. So the first step is approach the situation calmly, avoid or stop any hurtful languages or actions. Why? Because teachers model appropriate social behavior, which is a Highscope principle. So by remaining calm, they show the learners how to manage their emotions and interactions safely. So this encourages children to respond truthfully rather than impulsively. So just like for example, the teacher calmly says, "Stop first. We do not push or shout to each other." So another step is acknowledge children's feelings, because recognizing feelings is part of a Highscope's emphasis on understanding emotions. Children learn to identify, to label their feelings, promote self-awareness and empathy. For example, the teacher says, "I see you are angry. You want the truck." Another says, "You are sad because you took the toy." So, another step is gather information. Why? Because Highscope promotes listening to children's perspectives as part of their active participation. So gathering information from both sides, this ensures fairness and encourage communication and reflection, which are central to problem solving in the curriculum. So for example, the teacher asks, "What happened?" So each child explains their side of the story. So another step is restate the problem. So restating the problem, children clarify the issue and the focus on solution. So reinforcing Highscope principles of active problem solving and critical thinking rather than assigning the blame. For example, the teacher says, "So the problem is both of you. You want the play with the same truck." So just like that. So another step is ask for ideas, for solutions, and choose one together, because involving the learners in creating solutions reflects the Highscope philosophy of active learning, which children practice regulation, collaboration, and decision making. So skills that are central to curriculum's approach to independence and social competence. For example, the teacher asked, "What do we do to solve the problem?" Then the children, the learners answer, "We'll take turns and play together, use a timer," or they choose to take turns. So just like that. So the last step is that be prepared to give follow-up support, because follow-up in reinforcement reinforces reflection and problem solving. So this is also a key element of a Highscope plan, do, review cycle, because teachers support children in evaluating, outcomes and adjusting strategies. So this promote continuous learning and self-regulation. So after a few minutes, where I example the teacher checks, it's the turn taking working, or if not, the teacher helps again. And that would be all for the Highscope curriculum. Thank you!